of how we're going to stop it, but I know it has to be stopped.
Yeah, we're going to have to go to break here, Bernadine, and come back with a few final calls for you. But
okay.
I want listeners to really have it hit them, the magnitude of this. We are occupied now by a foreign banking world government that is so arrogant and so sure of itself, it's telling us this now on the news, while the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center, foreign agents, openly say we're insane and traitors and need to be arrested for saying there's a world government that's illegitimate. I mean, we are occupied. And now they're putting in the internet kill switches. They're getting ready to shut down talk radio. They're getting ready to start wars and false flags as a way to sell it. When I come back, I'll give you Bernadine Smith's website as well. Go there. Get the PDFs off there. We're going to mirror them at Infowars.com and do a special report on this in the next few days. The worst drought in 50 years continues. Bernadine said something really important last hour. This is a global government, and they say they're good guys, but they're not. And if you study what the financial interests that run the UN are up to and what they do, I mean, they say they want you poor. They say they want you to not be able to have children. They say that, well, Prince Charles doesn't want you to be able to take a hot bath, but then he's got hundreds of palaces and aircraft and private trains. He actually told people, don't take hot baths this winter. It takes too much gas to heat the water. I mean, this is just like this instinct of these pigs to dominate us and block our development so they can control us. And then I've got all the white papers where it's stated. And then they sit there and tell us how they care about us and, oh, turn your guns in. We want to take care of you. No, they want to be able to shut down any business they want, like Chick-fil-A in Chicago. They want to run our lives. Let's take another call. John in Texas, you're on with Bernadine Smith.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, Bernadine. Bernadine, do you think, you talk about the Civil War, do you think this is going to be a civil war like they had in Spain in 1937 where the nationalists are fighting against the globalist, communist, internationalists?
Probably even worse. You know, we're larger, and our country's population is greater. It will be a disaster. And the main thing that I wanted to get on, and the point I wanted to get over, is that there never was any permission to break the Second Amendment. The people have never approved of it. It has been falsified, and that point has to be brought to our Congress. And like I said, hopefully we can get Rand Paul to lead in that. If not, then gun clubs all over the country should be letting the people know that that's a predicament that we're in.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be stripped of our only defense, our only ability to fight against world communism. And I would suggest that people go to my website and look under the category called Gun Prohibition and see the article that it's a 75-page report. Starts out by calling it fabrication or a falsification of the people's approval for the prohibition of the right to keep and bear arms. And start from there. And if that word can get around, it will open up many of these subjects that you're talking about.
Well, I totally agree with you, because the average gun shop or gun range does nothing and just lays there as if that's going to keep them safe. And they go, well, I don't want the ATF to get mad at me. They're your servants. Get in their face. They're doing things that are illegal. They're shipping guns to Mexico. Stop laying down like sheep to these wolves. Thank you, John. Let's talk to Jason in California. You're on the air with Bernadine Smith.
Hey, Alex and Bernadine, long-time listener. I just got a couple points and then a question. I mean, we knew that this was happening long ago. We knew that the false flag was coming. We saw the Department of Homeland Security with their videos saying, look out for white terrorists, look out for homegrown terrorists, look out. And you know what? It's been right under our nose. We knew it was coming, and look, now we have one of the worst false flags in American history, not because of the casualties, but because of what it's going to do to us. This is going to take our Second Amendment away, And we need full spectrum civil disobedience because we as the American people cannot let this happen.
Exactly. Before the Civil War starts and the cities collapse and hundreds of thousands of police and citizens are killed, we have got to come together now and say no. Don't stage terror attacks. Don't blame it on us. And don't do it. Because it is pointless to have a war with the military and police. Even though they will lose. That's part of the plan. Then they're going to bring in the foreign troops. I'm telling you, folks, I've seen their plan. Bernadine doesn't even listen to the show. And she's already saying the exact same thing. And I hadn't talked to her in probably 10 years. This is hardcore. Bernadine Smith, how long has it been since you've been on the show?
Oh, it's quite a while. But the fact is that the people, you know, the people have never given their permission. And that has to be brought out. I just, you know, hope that they will realize that they've got to complain now before war starts.
That's right.
It's inevitable. A war is going to come because they're going to go after the people's guns. That's the only way that they can protect themselves, and they're going to try to take them.
That's right. The globalists have taken over the government. Now they want us individually enslaved. This is hardcore. Bernadine Smith, LibertyGunRights.com. We salute you. We'll be back with more key intel. Stay with us.
We're on the mark.
Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, we're here. I'm also back Sundays 4 to 6 p.m. with a live transmission. Weeknights, 7 o'clock, myself and the rest of the crew to the Infowars Nightly News. And again, I get in here every day now, and I'm at home, and I'm researching news, and I get in here, and I cover a lot of it, but I tend to get so wound up by the time I even get on air, I don't even know what to do. I mean, it's just we've got total criminals overrunning us. Half the public's in a coma, literal, I mean, medical trance with the TV and the chemicals. The globalists are so evil and do so many horrible things that I'm in awe of that. It's kind of like John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos, and it says he marveled at the beast. I mean, I marvel. It's like, well, what? I mean, why do they do this? Why are they? Well, they hate goodness. I mean, it's really that simple. It's kind of like Ted Knight says in Caddyshack, Danny, there's goodness and badness. Danny says, I want to be good. And he goes, good, very good. All right, I'm doing a stupid Caddyshack joke now. The point is, I know why people pull back into their shells and just give up. Because it's so overwhelming. But you cannot do that. And we're close to beating them. I mean, I keep going back to this Time magazine cover, and the polls show it. In the 60s, they convinced about half the public to turn their guns in, and it was a good thing to do. Because it was the new, you know, uppity thing, and the government could be trusted, and we were all going to fly around in silver spacesuits, and it was all going to be great. Now, on most polls, it's over 70%. Scientific polls are just totally pro-gun. They don't want any restrictions. They say, let felons have them, just as long as I got mine. They get that we have a predatory government. They get that it's, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm blown away that the big banks publicly run Al-Qaeda and publicly run all the drugs and publicly run the aircraft and publicly they're putting Al-Qaeda into Syria and admitting it now. And it just came out, of course, Obama ordered it all. I mean, it's just so still over the top. It's over the top that Harvard even came out. I mean, we already knew this, but Harvard comes out and says, we've gone over all these studies in our own study, and fluoride in the water is brain damaging us and destroying America and causing us to be stupid, and we can't compete. Folks, the people running Harvard are the ones back in the 30s and 40s that put the fluoride in the 50s. I've got those documents. I mean, what type of world is it where they put it in the water and then they tell us they did it to us, but then it stays in the water? I mean, it's all just over the top. And that's what I'm saying. I don't feel worthy to even bring you this info. There's so much of it. It's so crazy that I just beg of you. I beg of you, because you are the answer, to research this, find out it's true, and then grab your preacher by the arm and say, stop preaching Romans 13 out of context. We got to do something. and you see a cop, pull over and talk to him. Give him films. Give him info and say, listen, buddy, you're an American too. You better. This is the kind of stuff where we should be running around, well, like Alex Jones. People ask why I'm the biggest alternative media in the world, which I'm not proud of. That's scary. I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job with this position God's put me in. It's because I will get excited. I will run around like a chicken with my head cut off, which is a normal response to being taken over and conquered. Now, let me tell you, we got a fella here who helped us get Charlie Daniels on the show, a great patriot who's really waking up. Chuck Untersee is a retired Army officer, lives pretty much an Amish lifestyle out in Fredericksburg. Great guy. With he and his wife got a chance to meet him. And they have produced Behold a Pale Horse, America's Last Chance, starring country music legend Charlie Daniels. It's available at InfoWarsShop.com. Amazing cinematography, incredible actors they got to play the part of George Washington. I want to get that guy in studio. He lives in San Antonio. The point is that he'd never made a film like this, but he went out there and did this because he knew he had to do something. And it's a powerful film. And look, that's what you've got to do, whether it's a newsletter in your neighborhood or getting a local radio show. And don't tell me it's hard. You hadn't tried. They're just waiting to give people that can string a sentence together a local show, maybe an hour on Saturday or Sunday on talk stations. Get sponsors. Pay for it if you have to. Free market. Make money from it. Get a 3-hour show. Then next you'll have a weekday show. You'll get paid to be on the radio. You've just got to resist. Resistance is victory. And Chuck Untersee's an example of this. Behold a Pale Horse, available at InfoWarsShop.com. You support us, you support them. Get it. Show it to everybody you know. Powerful new film. It was perfect to have Bernadine Smith on the UN agenda to disarm us, world government. And then it's great to have him in here with the rest of the New World Order agenda. Chuck, what do you think of what's happening in this world and how crazy things have gotten?
Well, Alex, first, let me say your passion for freedom is infectious and has the power to move mountains, so I deeply appreciate your interest in our film. And I guess the single word that comes to mind as to your question is domination. And I suppose I never fit that well as a military type because I didn't like people telling me what to do. But my wife and I guess, are sort of the perfect target audience because we're just regular people clinging to Bible and gun, and we wanted to do something that would be, when I first got to L.A., we were out there 22 years, and an old producer told me, do what you know. So that's what we decided to do, to bring something to the party as far as on our end. And this 3-year odyssey we have, it's a trilogy. The film's a trilogy, and we have part 2 and 3 being edited right now. So it's been a project, and the more, as you know, the more you peel away the layers, the bigger it gets. We started out with a 1-year project and maybe 8 or 10 people to interview, and it grew to 42 people.
Tell folks some of the people that are in the film. I mean, Gerald Celente. This is a who's who. It's amazing how you traveled the country on a shoestring to do this, and it just looks like $1 million.
Well, in part 1, we lead off about communist insurgency and where that's taking us in this country with Lieutenant General William Boykin, who many people may be familiar with. He was the commander of Mogadishu in the incident which later became known as Black Hawk Down, the movie. But he had an amazing military career, a founding member of Delta Force, commander of Special Forces, captured Noriega, just on and on. And so he starts out and is intercut throughout with Gerald Celente. This is part 1. Larry Pratt, Edwin Vieira,